And the award for the best intro music of SPX goes to our team.
Whoop, whoop.
Isn't it nice when you can make the awards and then give them to yourself?
Oh man, that's great. If people walk away from this event not going beep, beep, beep,
that's been playing inside my head for the past couple of days.
Yeah, this is an award show, but there will be no slaps. So that's
finally something viral that I get to take credit for.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah,
You're welcome,
for
and
the
I'm
intro
sorry.
music. Yes, yes. Hey, welcome everyone. Yeah, we're not just talking to each other. We are talking to you, and we're wrapping up SPX 2022. Wow, this was like a freight train, guys. I don't know about y'all, but I like strapped in, and it just never stopped from Monday until right now.
Yep. Now it's Wednesday all of a sudden.
Yes, we've been living in the best dream the last 3 days. So that's what you mean, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the interesting point. I want to kind of get y'all's feedback on this. Every year, we've been doing XPX now since 2020, when the whole world shut down. We're like, okay, now how are we going to reach people? And we just so happen to be sitting around saying, hey, we got a lot of people who are already tuning in to podcasts. They're already watching webinars. They're already signed up to email lists. Like, we can help you reach those people. Well, it was such a awesome experience in 2020. We did it again in 2021. And, here we are in 2022, going strong. But every year, more and more people start tuning in. They learn about what XPX is, and in particular, why it's different. Before I go into all that, though, I want to just get some feedback from the two of y'all. Start with Brett, because you started with us last year, kind of in the middle of XPX, and you got thrown into the fire, right, as they say. So what's your experience been this time around in talking to the vendors that have exhibited with us this year, and then hearing feedback from the audience over the week so far?
Yeah, I think when you think about the year difference, it's been, a little bit different because I know what goes on now, and I'm not so involved in trying to learn. I was able to really get absorbed in talking to our vendors and learning about their products in separate discussions, and then being able to enjoy what they submitted to us, and being able to to watch videos and not be so concerned about the logistics and whether or not I was doing my job right.
Okay, you got to be an audience member of that,
right?
Is what you're saying.
And I mean, of course,
nice?
Yeah. And of course, there was some work on the back end, as we all know, but it was also much more of a learning process on my side, learning more about the products themselves, which was really enjoyable. So.
And that's a big purpose, right? And I'll get into some of that here in a moment. If you're just tuning in, I want you to stick with us. We got some pretty big announcements. I probably should have started with that at the beginning, but we got some. One announcement in particular is going to knock your socks off. But hang with us. We're going to save that until a little bit later. Maybe not the very end, but we'll save it a little bit later. But before we get to that, Lindsay, you have been with us since the very first XPX.
Mm-hmm.
What has your experience been like, in the progression of those events up until this year? Like, what made this year so special?
Yeah, great question. When your brainchild came into the world in 2020, when SPX,
you're a doula, you helped me birth my brainchild.
I helped you birth your brainchild.
That's probably taken that a little too far, but
I'm here for it. I am here for it. But in 2020, it was one of those situations where we're like, well, crap, the expos aren't happening. frontline technicians and department leaders still need to learn about this product and service information that was otherwise going to be shown at the expos. And so, I think from the beginning, the intention behind this event was pure and was super powerful. Because what it did is it really opened up the opportunity for the people who are working in the departments. I saw one comment, like, if I left the department, it would tailspin out of control. There's no way I could go to live events. But it really opened up the opportunity for frontline technicians, for the people who use these products and these services day in and day out, to actually learn about what's new and learn about what they can potentially expect to come into their department in the days and months to come. So from that first iteration of SPX, I know our team learned a lot about how to explain such a unique event to the general public. We're still
working on that.
There's still no login page for SPX 2022.
There's no login. Okay, we'll get you in 2023, guys. Just hang with us. We'll get you.
But I think it's a testament to just how easy it is to engage with this information. And just all the barriers that we've removed between the people who use the products and the vendor partners who are actually providing them. And I think this year was a huge testament to the power of utilizing, not only leveraging the Beyond Clean platform to access that end user audience, but also as a way to start to drum up interest and momentum as we head into, and as we're already in, that live expo season. So not only can you take advantage of people getting a sneak peek about your products and services before they go to shows, but the people don't get that opportunity. And so I think that's a lot of where the power and the impact comes from this year, is just more understanding on what the impact of an event like this has on the industry.
Totally. And I'll kind of jump off to that, I guess, into that progression piece that you mentioned. 2020, it was kind of, we had to do this, right? Like, if we didn't do this, you weren't learning about the products unless you were going to all like 2, 3, 4, 500 individual vendor pages to learn about them. There wasn't one source to go to get exposure to multiple vendors and multiple conversations at one time. But 2022, the world's opening back up. There's conferences going on again. And the question that we kind of had as a team, but also from the folks who are partnering with us to do XPX this year, is, okay, so why do this? I'm going to the conferences now. Well, an important point, and it's already kind of showed up in some of the comments section, is even though live conferences are back, what we've realized over the last couple of years is the sheer number of folks that never get to go to a live conference. I'm not talking like COVID shutdown or anything. I'm talking about even prior to that, they just didn't get a chance to go. There's I don't know if it's 1%, but I've been using 99% of the industry is not going to make it to the single big event in the US to learn about products, to talk to vendors, to get exposed to multiple folks at one time. Like I said, that's what XPX in 2022 was really about, is breaking down those walls, like you said, Lindsay, of you don't have to register. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to get a badge. You don't have to take PTO, and you don't even have to show up at the time the expo is going. That's another one of the things that we're still teaching folks is even though we have an hour for all of these vendor partners to talk about their innovations and to share the big announcements and solutions that are coming out this year, that 1 hour is like letting the animal out of the cage. But from there, it can just roam around.
It's free grazing time.
That's right. Grass-fed content right there. Okay. That's what happens out of XPX.
My farmer's heart is just thirsty.
We're making doula jokes. We're making farmer jokes today. Just
we're letting instruments out to pasture. Let's go. Enjoy yourself.
Hank, one quick point on that too, and maybe you're already going in this direction, but the opportunity for real-time information sharing without having to lug a suitcase of brochures back to the department is also, it just opens the door for making changes more quickly and bringing those products and services to your department more quickly.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
piggyback off that because I was looking in my closet, and I think I made a post on this not too long ago, but I still have brochures and swag from older conferences and really can't remember who I talked to and what I took away from that conversation, if anything, or if I was just information grabbing, and then it just ended up in my closet. So like you said, Linz, it's real time. You can absorb it much faster. You can pass it on. You can share it with your audience. It's, I think, more beneficial when it comes to that.
If you're tuning in with us live, or if you're watching after the fact, I'd love to know who is tuning in and where you're tuning in from. And as we keep talking a little bit here about XPX and the wrap up, I'd like to know what your experience has been with the content and with the vendors and with just the way that we've done it. Because even though this is the way that we did it this year, if there's anybody in sterile processing who hates the phrase "we've always done it this way," it's us. Okay, so we are not tied in to doing it the same way again. We want to improve. We want to be responsive, especially to the folks on the front lines who are consuming all this content. So please let us know what you thought in the comment section, or you can shoot us an email, and we would love to learn and hear and improve. To wrap up at least my piece of XPX, the big thing and the big takeaway that I want folks to realize in why Beyond Clean is doing something so vendor focused. Like if you love Beyond Clean, you know how passionate we are about education and especially CE approved education. Like we're all about that through the podcast, through the virtual conferences, etc. But built in to our mission statement is we exist for the people, the processes, and the products that are pushing our industry forward. And without good products, good luck trying to have a good sterile processing department. It's not going to work. You don't have any washers. You don't have any equipment. You don't have any instruments. You don't have any chemicals. You don't have any PPE. You don't have anything except for somebody standing around saying, I want to do sterile processing. And that's not quite all you need. Now, you can't do it without the bodies. And that's why there's a people part of our mission statement. And you can't do it without good processes. And that's what we talk a lot about through the podcast and the conferences. But we need the products. We need to know about the products and be aware of and connected with the people who are innovating the products, and not just on the back end, like the product's already made and now do you want to buy it or not? But we believe in on the front end, getting as many frontline clinical folks in front of these innovators before they make the product or before they come out with the service and say, hey, this is what you need to think about. This is how you need to improve your product or change your service so that folks like me and all my sterile processing friends and all my sterile processing managers will buy it. So all of this is kind of coming out and you're seeing this take form through XPX. So that's part of the vision. That's part of the takeaway here. And I want to thank everybody again for sticking with us because I know it's a lot of content. It's a lot of hours. We just went 3 straight days of boom, 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 boom. But the big takeaway is these are solutions that can help you fight dirty better and keep patients safer. So with that, we're getting some shout outs here from where folks are tuning in. We got it in Alaska, Jennifer. I did not know that you were from Alaska. I have been seeing you all around the content world on LinkedIn, but I did not know you're from Alaska. So that's great. We got a shout out here from Indiana. What's up, Kenneth? Welcome. Hey, Barry, the first Canadian graduate for our micro credential program, the new Beyond Clean and CCI micro credential. And you reminded me, Barry, and I've got a little banner here for this. We want to give a special congrats right now to Brianna Paul, who graduated today with the latest Beyond Clean CCI micro credential. So great job. She is out of Casper, Wyoming, and also member of the Beyond Clean advisory group. So great job, Brianna. Rocking and rolling. One of the first in the world with the sterile processing micro credential. So great job. And thank you for reminding me that, Barry. All right, a couple more comments here. Brian, I love this. Another micro-credential graduate, by the way. I still have to experience a major conference. He wants to go to a major conference, okay? He has said this multiple times. So anyone who's got a scholarship for those major conferences, reach out to
Send
Brian
it
because
to
he wants to go.
Brian.
Tuning in from Tampa, yes. And out there serving the VA and the veterans. So thank you for your service to those who serve us. So thanks, Brian. A couple more here, and then we'll go into some of our exciting announcements because, as you know, XPX ain't over yet, and there's something coming at the end of the week, and we'll talk about that in a second. Michael Matthews, everyone loves Mike. Mike was with us at the beginning of Beyond Clean as one of our hosts. He is now director, big title over at Agility Health. He does a lot of the clinical education over Agility. 55,000 people in the industry. And if we're looking at 1 to 1.5 thousand attendees, it's more like 97%. So thank you for proving me wrong, Mike. I've never been good at math, but it's pretty close. My beef with you, Mike, would be how many of those are frontliners versus vendors, right? If we're going to be nitpicky, which sounds like you are with the data, let's go there. Anyways, okay, I'm taking too much time. This is feedback here from Jesse. It's all well worth it. Thank you, Jesse. Stir the pot there. Hey, Lindsay, you know Angie, don't you?
I adore Angie. She's got the Say It Loud brand. She was just on a Beyond Clean event with the Connecticut chapter last week. Was on an awesome panel discussion. So much insight coming out of this person. Angie, welcome. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, thank you. And she's doing a lot of Spanish translation stuff. So that's good. That needs to happen.
Yeah. If you want to catch any of my 60-second growth spurts translated in Spanish, Angie's working on those. So,
boom.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. And we got a shout out here from UK. Thank you, Kevin. And then last one here, we got one from Lucilia. And she says, educate me so I can educate my team. I had the same conversation actually with Brian earlier this week in XPX, and I think we were kind of chatting. And coming to XPX yourself, you can bring all that content, just like Lindsay said. You don't have to bring it home with brochures. Like you can share it directly with your peers, with your educator, with your manager, and say, hey, check out this thing. Did you know that there's this new mobile sterilization like unit out there? Or there's this crazy app that you can scan an instrument now and it'll tell you what it is, like crazy cool stuff like that. You saw it on XPX and now you can share it immediately. You don't even have to go anywhere. So, okay, let's get to some of the fun announcements here. Start off with what's happening, what's wrapping up this Friday. Linz, do you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes, I would love to. So SPX has been such an incredible 3-day expo. And what better way to cap off such an enormous week than by featuring some of the top experts in the industry? And we're doing that through the Beyond Clean Expert Series Conference. It's a virtual event happening this Friday. Yes, you can tune in live. We would love it if you came and engaged with our experts, but you can also view it on demand. So everything from instrument protection to supply chain management, we've got a huge lineup of experts that are on deck, ready to have really engaging conversations. One of the coolest things about this event is that it's a no PowerPoints allowed event.
Amen.
Amen. So every educational session on Friday will be in-depth discussions where we'll bring in audience questions, and it'll be someone on the Beyond Clean team and then one or two of the experts having a candid conversation about the topics, the themes, the pain points that are going to interest you the most as frontline users and as department managers. So we're super, super excited for you to tune in. That registration link, educate.beyondclean.net. /Expert Series 2022. That's the fastest way to register. Or if you already registered for SPX 2022, the Virtual Vendor Expo, you're already in, my friend. So you'll be receiving those access links here likely tomorrow morning. So you'll have everything that you need.
And it's worth 7 CEs. I don't know if you said that or not.
You did not.
And then, Brett, you work with these experts all the time. You probably work with them more than anybody else on the team. And if there's anybody tuning in who's not familiar with what they do outside of the expert conference, can you tell us a little bit about the expert series in general, like what that is and why that's worth checking out?
Yeah. So, Lynn's alluded to each of our experts having a specific area of expertise. And so, we have water quality, we have instrument repair, on down the line. But every month, all of our experts has a submittal that we post live on social media, around 250 to 300 words. And it's subject matter that's different from month to month, but is valid to their area of expertise. And so we are putting a face on them with the Expert Series Conference, a voice. They are live people.
They exist.
Yes.
They're not just cartoons.
Yeah, not just cartoons.
And all very well spoken, very professional and engaging conversationalists and gifted writers. And that's why we have them as our experts. And so it's great to have them each and every month featuring some really poignant topics that I think are engaging for not only the sterile processing end users, but also other vendor partners. And we, as just professionals in general, they have some really good learning topics and drill things down to where it's understandable. You can print them out in a PDF form.
Yep,
put them up in your sterile processing department as an educational piece. And it really only takes a few minutes to browse through it, read through it. And
it's converted every, probably because we have so many of them now. I think they're running like 6 months or so, but we convert them eventually to podcasts and they come out through the podcast feed. And so if you subscribe to Beyond Clean, you can not only read them, but you can listen to them again. And like Brett said, it's such great content. Like every single one of those is worth consuming because it's somebody who lives this little content every single day, right? So like we got like a healthcare storage expert, Dustin Patterson, like he's thinking 24/7 about storage. Now, nobody else has time or maybe desire to think about healthcare storage 24/7, but these guys and gals do. And so it's such an opportunity for us to consume that insight and perspective and even opinions sometimes of these experts to at least inform us. You don't have to agree with everything they say, but as you can see my shirt, you do need to trust the experts. And yeah, this is a brand new shirt that we're going to be broadcasting, or I guess like wearing at HSPA in San Antonio. This is a brand new one, and I don't know if you can see this or not.
Hey, look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
There they are.
I've got the cartoon heads of our experts on the back of the shirt.
Yeah, you should have been turning around as I was explaining.
So I'm going to put the link to the Amazon page where you can buy this shirt if you want to.
And you can get this one too.
Yeah. So if you can find, like, it's a little hard to find our Beyond Clean brand page on Amazon because we're not in the business of trying to sell t-shirts. That's not our business. But if you just have to have a t-shirt and you think it's pretty cool, go check him out and you can support the cause there. Or even better, use like your department budget to buy some as like recognition gifts and stuff. That way you don't have to spend your hard-earned sterile processing money. Okay. Anyways, expert series. So we mentioned it's 7 CEs. We mentioned how to get registered. educate.beyondclean.net/expert series 2022. And if you come live, we kind of alluded to this, but because it's not PowerPoint based, we're going to be having a conversation, and we want that conversation to include you. And the great thing about our On24 platform is you can be almost right there with the guests, right? Because we can see your questions come through right away, and then we can tackle questions on air live. So come with your questions for these experts, and let's have an awesome 7 session event on Friday. Okay. All right. Moving on to our next event coming up. This is the Certified Quality Assurance, a high impact webinar series with ASP. And I think we got the registration link up for this. Yep. It is kicking off. So this is going to be a multi-part and multi-date series, but it's kicking off on April 12th. And the link, as you can see, there is educate.beyondclean.net/ASP2022. You can go register right now for all of the sessions. And what's going to be unique about this one is we've got a combination of interdisciplinary perspectives coming up. So we're going to hear from OR leadership on these topics. We're going to hear infection preventionists. Obviously, we're going to hear from the sterile processing perspective and kind of the science-based perspective on how these biological indicators and such are created and developed and how they actually work and should work in the clinical setting. So this is going to be a fun one. And as we said, it's kicking off on April 12th. But if you go to the registration page, you can see all the other information there at educate.beyondclean.net/ASP2022. Lindsay, do you have anything else to add on that event?
The only thing that I'll kind of reiterate is that multidisciplinary approach during this series. So we'll have the scientific background, we'll have the operating room perspective, sterile processing perspective, and the infection control perspective. And the fourth session of this series is actually a panel discussion with all of those perspectives brought into the same room for a roundtable discussion on the high impact of quality assurance measures and the things that departments can do and various departments can do to work together to improve processes in their facility. So it's going to be an awesome event. I'm super excited for this one.
Cool. All right, so let's move on here to our next event announcement. This is another fun one. If you haven't caught it yet, at Beyond Clean, we like to do creative education. We don't like the normal kind of hit the snooze button and wake up in 60 minutes kind of presentation. We really want it to be engaging and fun. And in particular, we'd like to answer questions and talk about topics that haven't been discussed before. Like that's what really gets us excited. This is going to be one of those panel discussions around the table on instrument repair that's sponsored by Agility Health. And we were just talking about Michael Matthews earlier. He's likely going to be on the panel with us, but we're going to have some other members of the Beyond Clean advisory group on the panel, some true users across the board at different levels of the department, speaking about the challenges and the pain points and the opportunities and the best practices around instrument repair. Like, how do we tackle this in a way that doesn't kill the budget? How do we tackle this in a way that doesn't harm the patient, right? Because at the end of the day, we want functional instruments because they're going to be used on people like us and people that we love. And all that comes down to having strong partnerships and a strong process around instrument repair. So this is coming in April. We haven't quite set the date yet, but hang with us. And if you follow us on Beyond Clean, or if you're subscribed to the email list, you will get notified of when this is going on and how to take part. Okay. Oh man, Brian's stepping out on us. Brian, you're leaving us for an in-service? Dude.
Oh, man.
Good for you. Good for
Yeah.
you. We'll be here when you get back.
All right. So it looks like all the registration links are working good. So thanks on that piece. Okay. We've got regional events. So we do a lot of these. You don't see as much of the promotion of these. We used to push all of our regional events on all the big brand pages, but that got to be a lot because we're doing so many events, global events, webinars, podcasts, etc. So we've kind of condensed all this. We just finished that Connecticut event that you mentioned, Lindsay, that Angie was at last weekend. And then we've got this CASP chapter regional event coming up on May 7th. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area or the multi-state, New Jersey, New York, around that area, please stay tuned and reach out to your CASP chapter representatives or track him down through LinkedIn. Ken Batten is the new president of the CASP chapter. But I bring this up to say, if you are a member of a local chapter and you want Beyond Clean to partner with y'all to do educational events, we are down like Chinatown. And Lindsay, if you will please share a little bit about what that opportunity is, because I don't think a lot of folks know that you can call us and we'll bring the party to you in a virtual platform. So yeah, what's this all about?
And a party it is. Everything Beyond Clean does feels like a party. Well, our team, some exciting news. Our team has been working with Damian Berg at HSPA with some updates to the chapter resource guide, and Beyond Clean is going to be officially listed as one of the preferred partners for virtual event support. So we're super excited to be able to offer our platform to different chapters who want to engage the professionals in their state virtually with some really engaging education. Here's what that means for you. If you're a chapter organizer, chapter leader, and you want to put on a very cool event that is not going to eat away at all of your time and all of your chapter's budget.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Low lift.
I've run those
What?
chapters
We
before.
are
We don't have any time.
Right. You don't have time. You don't have a surplus of funds to spend on these events. We're the perfect partner for you because we will find a sponsor for your event. If you want us to find all of the educational sessions for your event, we will do it. All of the sessions are available on demand. So not only do you have that live event opportunity, but you can also offer the sessions on demand to your members of your chapter through your website or through the Beyond Clean website as well. So a lot of great opportunity. We love education. We love not having the same conversation over and over again. And so variety is the spice of life. And we try to take that on with all these chapter events and really bring in some local flavor, local flair. Let's have some cool panel discussions with subject matter experts and frontline users in your chapter.
Yeah.
All of that sounds awesome to us. So we're here for it. Just reach out, Lindsay at beyondclean.net, and we'll chat.
It looks like we've got a sign up
Hey.
from Denard. He wants a cool
Yes.
event, 100%.
Let's do it.
And I think, I don't know if he's the new president or the incoming president of the Mask chapter, the Masca chapter. I think it's South, but correct me if I'm wrong, Denard. Let us know what your new title is in terms of the chapter. But yeah, either way, like you brought up, Lynn's, a very, very important point is we want local talent in particular. Like we want to speak to and platform the people in your region that have great things to say, have great stories to tell, or, who need that opportunity to get a little practice on the speaking circuit, on the education circuit. Like we did a great event out in California about new voices in sterile processing. Like that's such in line with who we want to be as Beyond Clean. And it can be daunting, I know, to do that for the first time. But Brett, it's kind of brings you in. You can talk like real briefly, because I don't know how interesting this is going to be for everybody, but for speakers in particular, like what happens is we track them down and then it's like, hey, Brett, this person wants to speak. Yep. Or like, we want this person to speak at this event. And then it goes through the process. So can you just talk through real briefly how they get that information, what that process is in terms of speaking at one of our events?
Yeah, and I think we've really streamlined that pretty well this past year. And Lynn's mentioned that we really tried to take the lift off of these chapters and and really make it easy for you. So I think one of the things that we've done is we've built out a form that allows you to submit all of your information, which is relevant to the conference itself, and then allows us to grab that and then pile it in so we can submit it for CE. And once we have all that info, that's it. We just build that out and take it on. So we're good.
And quick note, even though it's a Beyond Clean hosted event, you don't have to have Beyond Clean speakers. We're a vendor neutral platform. So if you want to have a cleaning brush discussion where you bring in multiple cleaning brush vendors to talk it out very, very politely, we can make that happen.
That's a great point that you brought up, though, Brett. And I wish I would have thought about that too, but it goes into what Lindsay said. If you're throwing your own event or, even like virtual event, oftentimes it's the chapter leadership and it's the chapter members that have to manage that whole speaking process, like scheduling and topic and CE and approval. And I mean, it's a lot to do. So that's one of our opportunities, for Beyond Clean, because we've got a team, we've got structure, like we can take that off your hands. And just like Denard said, create a cool event with the people that you want to hear from and the topics that you want to talk about. And it's all customized to your region. So cool opportunities. And if you're tuning in and you're a vendor and you're like, hey, I love that idea, we'd love to support some of these regional chapters, talk to us, because we'd love to get that support and bring it out to these different industries. So tuning in, moving on, I should say, to our next announcement here is another big, fun global event that's happening on May 20th. And this is the Fast Forward 2022 Accelerating Your Professional Development Global Conference, sponsored by Proper. It is Proper. The proper pronunciation is Proper. Proper Manufacturing. And if y'all don't know Jamie over there at Proper, she is like all about professional development. She does that like even outside of her day job or second day job. So this is going to be like legit professional development. We're going to have some great speakers at this event. And just don't miss it. It's going to be different too. It's not going to be the same old, like, how do you do this in your career? It's going to have the spice of Beyond Clean. It's going to be global again. So we're going to open this up to the whole world. And I think we're going to be shooting for how many CEs, guys? Like 6 to 10 in that range somewhere.
So likely we'll have 10 CEs total with bonus content.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 beautiful. With the conference itself, and then on top of that, we'll have the bonus. So
yeah. So mark your calendars now for this event, May 20th, and the registration for that is going to be coming live any day now. So watch your emails for that. Anything I missed on that, Linz or Brett?
May 20th is the date. Mark your calendars. It's going to be awesome. If anyone is familiar with the 60-second growth spurt YouTube series that I do on the Beyond Clean YouTube channel, I'll be wrapping in some of that information into the presentation that I'll be presenting. I'm super excited. It's a very raw, very real presentation created because I was going through some stuff professionally. And so I'm excited to share the lessons that I learned, and hopefully encourage you to take a really important look at what comes next for you in your career.
I like the raw because that's real life.
Yep, that's real life, friends.
You got real life out there in the industry. It's not all, sunshines and roses, and there's a lot of burnout, especially from department leaders, but even technicians these days. Like we hear it, they're checking out and they're like, hey, I don't see a pathway here. And I see some competitive offers at the hardware store or at the supermarket across the street. And so I'm like, I'll see you later. And we don't want that. We want to keep the high performers in our industry, and we want to give them a career ladder and a path toward growth. And that's what this is going to be talking about. So thank you for that. All right. We've got a couple of other events still in the planning stages, but are going to be coming down the pipeline. So I just want to give a shout out to those here. June 7th is the Trust the Process Monitoring Conference. Is going to be
17th.
sponsored by
17th.
3M. 17th. I can't even read. Okay, June 17th. Trust the process. Thank you. That's why I have y'all on the panel with me. Help me
know our role.
read. Yeah, so that's coming. Sponsored by 3M Healthcare. And that is going to be another global conference. So we're going to have huge audience with that, a lot of great content and conversations around process monitoring. So mark your calendar there. Next one is the month after, July 15th. It's going to be a water quality conference sponsored by MMIC. And if you missed it, they were a recent XPX session, I think 2 or 3 sessions ago earlier today, and they got some pretty cool stuff that they're working on. So scroll back up your news feed. That's another great thing about XPX. Scroll back up your news feed and you can see the intro interview with their team. Brett, did you do that interview with?
I did that one.
Linz,
Oh,
yeah,
Linz
she
did,
did
okay.
that. Yep.
Great. Yeah. So Linz, you want to give us like a little shout out about who their team is? Because that's one of those kind of newer brands, I think, that's coming into the space.
Well, actually, they've been around for quite a while, but they're doing some innovative stuff at MMIC Medical Systems. For example, they have the only U.S. code compliant mobile sterile processing system that's able to support a 3-zone workflow. And so when you have big hospital construction projects, when you're undergoing any sort of natural disaster cleanup or anything in your department, having a mobile sterile processing unit capable of supporting that 3-zone workflow is huge. They also have a brand new Verda water solutions, that involves turnkey equipment and service offerings. So all of those details are available in their SPX posts. So like Hank said, scroll back to a couple hours ago and you'll get all the details that you need.
Or if you're subscribed to the Beyond Clean email list, you'll get a wrap up and all the post by post plays in that wrap up email too. We got a woohoo from Morgan Smith. So thanks, Morgan. All right. So we're gonna make the big announcement. I'm a little nervous. Are y'all nervous?
I'm always nervous.
Okay. Don't screw it up, Hank.
It's excitement, not nerves.
Yeah. So before we make this big announcement, I need to make a big apology, kind of. On April 1st, which is April Fool's Day.
Yes.
I noticed that a lot of y'all out in the industry didn't quite get the April Fool's prank that we played on y'all. So I apologize for how extremely well written that prank post was, that it was so believable. But we're not buying a 9-acre studio complex in Washington.
Not yet.
Yeah. And we're not merging with MPG Films, which doesn't exist.
Susie Goes to Vegas has to be a soon to be released video.
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, if you miss that post, you can go see it on the Beyond Clean blog. Actually, it's still in there. But read all the way to the end, and then you can get the joke. And yeah, in the middle, we highlight some of the made-up films that production company made. So, anyways, I apologize for that. That was a joke. But our announcement that we're making right now, not a joke. This is very real, and it's true. So, without further ado, we began Beyond Clean the summer of 2017, August of 2017, and actually May or June. It started as a LinkedIn message, and you can track down the message thread itself. It's on our Beyond Clean site. I think it's under our story. Mm-hmm. And you can scroll down and see where Justin Poulin contacted me through LinkedIn and asked me, hey, have I ever thought about doing a podcast? And then here we are 5 years later. Crazy story. So yeah, go check that out. But we've been here and it'll be 5 years in August. And everything that we have become as a brand is because of you guys and gals that have been tuning in along the way and supporting the revolution and supporting the the mission to fight dirty. So when we were thinking about, hey, what do we do to celebrate? How can we really make a big splash in this 5-year anniversary that we're about to hit in August? And we threw around some things, like we like giveaways. Y'all see the giveaways. We've done a lot of giveaways during XPX already, giving away books, giving away scholarships, giving away T-shirts. But we wanted to go big or go home. And so what we decided is a collaborative giveaway, right? So we need something from you, and then you get something from us. And what we need from you is to get us to a particular record-breaking benchmark. And then we're going to do our own record-breaking benchmark as well. So I know I'm talking ambiguous and everything else, but let me just get right to it. We are going to hit 1 million podcast downloads in 2022. That much is for certain. The question is when. And if we can get to 1 million downloads by August to celebrate our 5-year anniversary, we are prepared to do the largest cash giveaway in sterile processing history. You know, we love making history around here at Beyond Clean. We love being the first to do things. And this, to my knowledge, anyone out there can correct us if we're wrong, but to my knowledge, is the largest cash giveaway in the history of sterile processing. Depending on where you live, I might even drive all 5,000 George Washingtons to your house. We can do a photo shoot if you're on the East Coast. But either way, we're going to be giving away $5,000 to the grand prize winner of this giveaway. And we're going to be giving away a lot of other giveaways between now and August to get to that goal of 1 million podcast downloads. So you're probably sitting there thinking like, oh man, that sounds good. I'm all about some Benjamins. So how do I do it? Right? Well, good. We're going to give you multiple opportunities to put your name in the proverbial hat multiple times from now until August. So it's not just one drawing with one chance. If you're a Beyond Clean super fan, or as I told Brian earlier this week, if you're Beyond Clean super freak or clean freak, super freak, if you tune in to what we do and you track us on social media, if you follow the newsletter, if you come to the virtual events, if you listen to the podcast, all those 4 things, you will get the opportunity to submit multiple times between now and August. So where do you go to find more information? I'm going to put that at the bottom of the screen here. You can go to our new anniversary landing page, beyondclean.net/anniversary. If you're like me, anniversary is a hard one to spell for me for some reason. So we're going to try to put the link in the comment section. And if you just go to beyondclean.net, it's at the top of the header there, and then you can navigate there. But go to the anniversary page, and it's going to walk you through the 4 ways to get your code. So we're going to be giving 4 codes a month, 4 unique codes. And throughout the month, there's going to be 4 different places for you to go and track down those codes. And then you take the codes, come back to the anniversary page, and then click on the link in the middle of the page where it says here. And then you can submit those codes for that monthly submittal. After that, your name's in. And no matter what, between now and August, we'll draw, and your name's going to be in that drawing. However, if you do it in April, and you do it in May, and you do it in June, and you do it in July, and you do it in August, you're going to have 5 or 6 opportunities to put it in multiple times and give you the best possible chance to bring home the bacon from Mama and Papa. So go to beyondclean.net/anniversary to check it out. As I mentioned, here are the 4 ways that you can do it. You download the mobile app on Android or Apple. Now, this is not subscribe on iTunes, right? Or subscribe on like Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify. Like you can listen to the podcast those ways. But if you download the mobile app, then you will have access to the bonus content. So let me show you what that bonus content looks like here. And I'm going to cover you up, Brett. I'm sorry. Brett is gone. Okay.
I'm still here. But...
Oh, man. But you sound like Joseph Martin now. No. Okay. This is the first episode of our brand new season 16, which, by the way, I know XPX has been getting all the love this week, but season 16 just launched on Sunday, special Sunday release. This is episode 1, Yes We Scan, all about tracking systems, and wonderful episode with Joseph on an interesting topic. This guy went from electronic tracking to manual tracking. Okay. All the conversation is always like, how do we go from manual to electronic? Well, he went from electronic to manual and learned a ton and had a lot of challenges and has like some cool insight around that. So check out this episode. But anyways, that little yellow arrow there is pointing to a present or like a little gift icon. Underneath that gift is the code. So for April, you can find your first code on that podcast episode on your mobile app. Yeah, it's all backwards around here. It's hard, I'm telling you. Okay. It's on that bonus content on your mobile app. So that's your first code, 1 of 4. Now, we'll bring Brett back here. Okay.
I was trying to point, but
we couldn't see your fingers. The other 3 ways are we're going to have a secret code in one of the emails that comes out in April. We're going to have a secret code in one of the events that happens in April. And we're going to have a secret code come out through one of the social media posts that happens in April. So if you're a clean freak and you're all about the Beyond Clean content, grab those 4 codes together. Go back to that landing page. I'll put this at the bottom here again for you. And then put those in, and your name is in. And if we get, 200 submissions, we'll draw from 200. If we get 2,000 or 20,000, we'll draw. But every time that you get your name in, I'm not that good at math, but it rises your chances pretty substantially. So if you can get it in 5 or 6 times, that's a great opportunity. Okay. I will be quiet for a second. And in the few minutes that we have left, let's start with you, Linz. What are you excited about in this 5-year anniversary that Beyond Clean has? Like, do you have anything that really sticks out that you want to recognize or chat about?
Yeah, as one of the very first guests on the podcast in season 1, being part of watching the growth of Beyond Clean over the past couple of years as part of the team, and then the first couple of years as sort of an ancillary outsider looking in, what I'm excited about is just the opportunity that the industry has to fuel the passion. So I always hear this, Beyond Clean has lit a fire under the industry. Like, we bring the passion, we bring the energy. And so 5 years of doing that, none of us are tired. None of us are going to stop. We're just getting started. And so I think that's the coolest part. Like, we get to celebrate 1 million podcasts, unique downloads.
Isn't that crazy?
Not just like a whole bunch of like repeat downloads by the same person. These are unique downloads. And I think that's huge. And I think that it is a testament to the opportunity for creative content, the opportunity for having conversations that you might be thinking about, but maybe haven't been brought to the forefront because they're touchy subjects. Who cares? Let's have them. Mm-hmm. That's how we're going to move the industry forward. And that's pretty exciting stuff.
It is. It's unbelievable. If you think about 1 million, like, that's such a large number. And if you would have, I would have bet you $1 million in 2017 that we would never get 1 million people to listen to a podcast about sterile processing. Now, I would have done it anyways because it was important and it was fun, but no, 1 million people, crazy. And yet here we are on the cusp of that. So I think it is a testament to what you said. Like, this is a show that has tapped into the passion and insights of our industry. And just like you said, like, you were one of the early guests. and I shared this past week, we learned very early, Justin and I, they weren't tuning in to hear from us. They were tuning in to hear all these different people with all these different perspectives and insights and passion. And we just did it again, week after week after week. We talked to more people, and the audience just took care of itself. So crazy, awesome ride.
And to give a
Yeah.
little sneak peek into how our team reacts when these milestones are attainable, like we sit on the phone with each other and we're like, how are we experiencing yet another record month? How is that even possible? Like, we have those moments where, like, holy crap, we're a part of something really, really cool. And the fact that we keep seeing that growth and that potential is so motivating for us. And that's all because of you, everyone tuned in.
Speaking of growth, before I turn it to you, Brett, we had some other awesome milestones that I don't want to fail to mention. Last week, we cracked 100,000 views on our Beyond Clean YouTube channel. Also, crazy, just absolutely crazy. But the content that's on there is very diverse. You got like short little videos, like your 60-second growth spurt, which, by the way, is not always 60 seconds, but
Hey,
just
man,
kidding.
catchy title.
Got to poke you a little bit on that. No.
93
And
seconds
yeah,
doesn't have the same ring.
yeah, right. It's a handful of seconds, yeah. All the way up to our Beyond Clean, Beyond the Tour mini series. We've got a couple of episodes of that already out. We got a couple of episodes in queue to record for 2022. But all kinds of great panel discussions on there. You can listen to the podcast on YouTube. I know some folks like to do that too. So unbelievable 100,000 views. And then just this week, we cracked over 10,000 followers on our LinkedIn page. Y'all, I mean, what's going on is what everyone is asking is like, who are these people and where do they come from? And they're not saying that about Beyond Clean only. They're saying that about sterile processing, because I'll tell you, in healthcare, if you look at the audiences and all these little departments like respiratory therapy, you're not going to find a podcast with 1 million downloads about respiratory therapy. There probably should be, but they haven't done it yet. In sterile processing, our audience is like plugged in, excited, passionate, and pushing. And the sky's the limit, not just for us, but everyone out there that's trying to educate in the space. Okay, Brett, I'll give you the last word. You don't have to rush here. We don't have to end right on the hour,
Right.
But in this 5-year kind of wrap up, or not wrap up, I guess, but in a 5-year milestone, what are you looking back on? What are you thinking about? What are you most excited about?
Well, I think, I watched the rise, I guess, when I first met you guys back then it was Isham, now HSPA, but seeing you guys had a booth, you were doing the podcast from the booth, and it was an original idea, but not a lot of people had heard of Beyond Clean. And I tapped into it early. I followed you guys from the beginning, and just to see how that voice has just grown in the industry and how the industry itself has been impacted. And you walk into a facility, a hospital, and for them to know who we are, what we say, what we do, and how we've brought so many disruptive conversations to the industry, informative and education, it's just something that to celebrate. And when I think about the first time that I really engaged with you guys, when I was on the vendor side and doing a vendor spotlight, and just knowing the audience that it captured, and how often you could repurpose that information and turn it into something. Maybe it could be education, but it could be also informative for a product or a service. And there's just so many different ways of touching the industry and working with our industry partners and elevating them and lifting them up. I just think it's something that I didn't think from my side that it was going to grow as quickly as it did. And I'm happy to be a part of it. It's great.
And we're happy to have you, Brett
Yes.
and Lindsay. And if you're taking notes over here, one of the best ways to get on the Beyond Clean team is get on an interview with us, track us down in a conference. We always got our eyes and ears open for who's out there as passionate about education as we are, who's out there as excited about all these innovations and innovators out there and bringing them in front of sterile processing audience. Like, those are the folks that we're always looking for to grow the team. That being said, you don't have to be on the team to make a huge impact in what Beyond Clean is doing and how we're impacting the industry. And I mean that, like on the small but mighty team that we have, but you can be in the Beyond Clean advisory group, which is the perfect way if you're an active clinician out there getting dirty and fighting dirty every single day. We want your voice on the Beyond Clean advisory group to help us to make Beyond Clean content better and to help all of our vendor partners out there create better, smarter products and services. So with that, I just want to say, oh, no, go ahead.
Hey.
I don't want to say anything. Yep.
It's been 5 years of Beyond Clean. What are you most excited about?
Oh, that's wow. I have a dream job. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's the kind of job that as a new technician in 2009, sweating profusely under my PPE and being told by my supervisor that I need to find second gear in decontam, into just the crazy, awesome growth that I've had as a professional, but then also now through Beyond Clean and with all the wonderful people that we've met around the industry and done cool things. Like, I got to speak at the World Congress in 2019. Like, who does that, But all of that has happened again because people have responded to the content. And I tell this to the vendor partners all the time, but hey, just because you got a good idea doesn't mean anything. If people don't see it and engage with it, then it might as well have just never happened. It's like the tree that falls in the forest, right? And so I guess the thing that I'm most excited about is I have a job that I get to think every single day, how can I bring fun, creative, unique education and content to people like me in 2009 who wanted it, who needed it. And in 2009, it wasn't there. And it wasn't even there in 2015 or 2016. Like, it started coming on the scene with Beyond Clean. And I said this earlier this week, but we're not the only ones now. There's a bunch of podcasts out there in sterile processing. There's a bunch of people doing online education and networking. So I'm honored and humbled and like really overwhelmed. Like, it's hard to even sit back and say, like, what is the impact yet? Ask me in 20 years and then I'll say, oh, okay, so that's what happened, but right now I'm just enjoying the ride and I'm counting my blessings and just very, very thankful for everybody on all sides of the table that have supported the project. So thank you for asking. That's very kind. All right. With that, we're going to wrap up. Go to beyondclean.net/anniversary to take advantage of the cool opportunities that we're doing now. All the codes are not out yet. We got the first code is out on the mobile app, but stay tuned for the other 3 codes that are coming out for the month of April. Then follow the instructions and go put your name in the hat for the largest cash giveaway in sterile processing history. But before you go, XPX, all the sessions are done. The content is going to live there for as long as the internet exists, unless Mark Zuckerberg or whoever owns LinkedIn tries to shut it down. And Friday, we have the Expert Series Conference. So do not forget to tune in for that and to bring your questions and insights for that live discussion with all of Beyond Clean and power supply experts that we'll have on the show with us. So with that, I'm going to wrap up here and we'll see y'all again soon.